Yesterday we had discussed the stored procedure concept, which will insert data into a table, and also it will return result set from a stored procedure based on the input parameter, right? So we can pass up to 32 input parameters here, but in real time we will not use those many parameters, right? Maybe 2 or 3 max will use. Okay, and then the next example which I'm going to discuss is, see, if you want to update based on the employee input, we can also do that. Let's say I have a table called department here. I have a department table here, right? So based on the user input values, if you want to update anything, so you can also use a stored procedure for that. Instead of writing the update statement again and again, we can create a stored procedure. See, if any task, if you are doing repetitively, so in real time we'll create a stored procedure, so that instead of writing the code again and again, we can reuse the stored procedure code, right? So now what my task is, I want to update a department table based on the department ID, the department names. If the employee changes any department, then I should change it, or maybe department ID also may get changed, right? So let me create a stored procedure. Create procedure name USP underscore department underscore update. As begin and then end, right? So update, I think we need to give the input parameter here. At the rate department ID, update department, set department name equals to department name. Do we need to hard code, or do we pass that value as well? So if you want to pass department name also, we need to provide that variable as well, right? So we'll give it from outside department name. That's why I'm taking another input parameter marker of 20, right? So equals to at the rate department name, which means it will take it from the user input, where department ID equals to at the rate department ID. This is a simple query which I am writing within a stored procedure, right? So let me create. So if you refresh, you can see it, the newly created stored procedure here, dept underscore update. So now to execute this, so we need to pass 2 parameters now. So earlier we had only one, so now we created a stored procedure with 2 input parameters, space, and then department ID. So for the department table, I just want to change the department ID of 101 to which value? Now it is CSE. Now let me change it to triple E, right? One row is affected. So now if you check the destination table, you can see instead of CSE, there is a triple updated, right? So based on this, lot of operations we can perform within it. See, if let's say I have updated data, right? So after that, if I want to select data once I update it, so you can also write here select star from. That's up to your requirement. Okay, it's not like always we should update, always we should insert, right? So to change the procedure code, once after you create, you just need to change this create to alter. Okay. So for any modifications, you have to do it alter. So now the stored procedure core will get modified. So now if you execute here, once after update, it will also fetch the result set. See here, one row is affected, right, which is for update, and select star from result set, it is retrieving the output of the select statement from a stored procedure, right? So within a stored procedure, you can also create temp tables also, right? So now I think the temp table creation part I'll explain you in performance tuning tips. This concept, query tuning techniques in a stored procedure, right? So now basically in real time we'll be having two approaches. Data loading. Okay, the first one is full load, and then the second one is incremental load. Okay, so the full load is nothing but always truncate the existing data and reload it. Full data from source, right? Incremental load is load the data to destination table, if there are any new records in the source, which means if let's say, see, first thing is full load is nothing but always see full load will be used for dimension tables. We'll call it as like dim geography. See, dimension tables are nothing but it is a template for all the tables. Like we'll create once, and then like dim date tables or dim time, right? So it will not change once we created the calendar tables, or maybe dim locations. See, the locations will not change, right? So it will be same. Maybe like state names, right? The city names. So for those kind of maybe additions will be there, like new data will be inserted on the source, but there will not be any updations, right? So during that time, if data is less, it's better for truncate and reload all the time, right? And for incremental load, see, incremental load basically is nothing but loading the data from the source, whatever it is not there on the destination, which means loading new data only from the source. See, in real time, everyday transactions will be performing, right, by a customer or whatever it is. If you take a telecom domain, new calls will be there, and if you take banking domain, customer transactions will be new every day, right? So forget about the yesterday load. So yesterday load, it will be there in the destination, but whatever the records which are new into the table for today, only load those records. That approach will called as incremental load. So I'll tell you the example for that. So I'll show you the both examples now, how to achieve full load and how to achieve incremental load, right? So full load is simple. Just truncate the data before you load, right? So if I take an example of employee temp here. See, we have 3 rows here, right? And then if I take employee, it also has 3, maybe. Yeah. See now, this one I'm taking as a source table and employee underscore temp, I'll take it as a destination. Okay. See what happens. I want to implement the full load option. Full load, which means truncate and reload. So to implement full load, the procedure is, so you need to create a procedure. First, create procedure name, USP underscore employee underscore temp underscore full load, right? As begin and then end. So here what I'm trying to do is, so this is my destination table. Destination is nothing but to which table we are inserting the data, right? So first I'll truncate the data. So truncate table, then table name. Okay. And then before I insert into data into it, I'll truncate it and then I'll insert the data into this table. So let me try to give with column names. So how to fetch the query for insert of this table instead of writing again. So right click script table as insert to new query window, so that you'll get the insert query here. So the values part you can ignore it. Why? Because the values you are inserting from another table, right? So I copied the code, insert query syntax, right? And then I should select from employee. So for employee, select top 1000 rows, remove top. Why you should remove is if table is having more than 1000 rows, if top is there, only top 1000 rows will be fetched, right? So that's the reason why I removed it. So now check the order of columns. Employee ID, employee ID, employee name, and then employee age. See, there is no location here in this table, right? So for us, it is not required. I think here it is there, not there in the source. In the source we don't have, but in the destination we have it, right? Maybe let me hard code it, right? So we can hard code the location for all the values to Bangalore. Okay, since it is not there in our source table, right? So now the number of columns are matched with the source and then destination, right? Our insert code is proper now. And before I insert data into this, I'm truncating the data, right? So how many rows are there in the source? How many? 15 are there. So now if I execute the stored procedure, it should truncate the existing 3 rows from this table here. And as per our stored procedure, first it will truncate and then it should insert the data from employee table. And this employee table is having 15 rows, right? So the end result should be, if once after I execute a stored procedure, the destination table, which is employee underscore temp, should have a record count of 15 rows, right? So let's see that. So create procedure. exec space stored procedure name. Fifteen rows affected. Now let's select data from the table. Can you see 15 rows? See, every time now you can see only 15 rows, right? But if you check an example of yesterday, whatever we discussed, the first stored procedure, how many rows are there in the destination table, guys? 15 rows are there. But the values, if you check the values, always 11, 11, 22, 22, 33, 33, 55, 55 is repeating, right? Duplicate values are coming. If I execute again the stored procedure now, again 3 rows, and if I check the data again, those 3 rows are duplicated, right? See again, those 3 rows only insert. If I execute again, the same rows will get inserted again. So do you really need to maintain the duplicate records in the destination, the same records always? No, right? So it is waste of use if you maintain the duplicated records multiple times, right? So to avoid that, either we can go for truncate and reload, which is every time it will truncate the existing data, or we can go for incremental load. So incremental process, which we'll gonna discuss now, I'll tell you. So incremental load is nothing but whatever the records which are not there on the destination, only those records we should insert, right? So now I'll take the same example, same tables, right? So I'll create the incremental load stored procedure. Before that, any questions, guys, on truncate and reload? Yeah, hi. Your voice is not clear.
ఆల్రెడీ ఎగ్జిస్టెంట్ టేబుల్ లో డేటా ఉంటుంది కదా, ఇప్పుడు నన్ను న్యూ వాల్యూస్ మనం ఎంటర్ చేయాలంటే ఎలా చేయగలం? దాంట్లో
డెస్టినేషన్ లోనా?
నా డెస్టినేషన్ టేబుల్ న్యూ టేబుల్ వాల్యూ ఎంటర్
న్యూ
చేయాలంటే
టేబుల్ లో వాల్యూస్ ఎలా ఇన్సర్ట్ చేస్తావు? సోర్స్ లో ఇన్సర్ట్ చేస్తే ఆటోమేటిక్ గా స్టోర్ ప్రొసీజర్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసినప్పుడు
ఆల్రెడీ మనం స్టోర్ లో టేబుల్ నుంచి ఇంకో టేబుల్ లో మనము క్రియేట్ చేసాం కదా, సోర్స్ టేబుల్ డెస్టినేషన్ టేబుల్.
అవును.
ఇప్పుడు మన సోర్స్ టేబుల్ లో మనకు రో అనేది యాడ్ చేయాలనుకుంటే ఎలా చేయాలండి?
సోర్స్ టేబుల్ ఎలా యు నో రైట్ హౌ టు ఇన్సర్ట్ ఏ వాల్యూ ఇంటూ సోర్స్ టేబుల్?
అంటే నార్మల్ ఇన్సర్ట్ ఇంటూ ఆ టేబుల్ నేమ్ ఎంటర్ చేసి ఆ రో వాల్యూస్ ఎంటర్ చేయాలి కదా,
అంతే.
అలా చేయాల్సిందేనా? అలాంటి దీంట్లో ప్రొసీజర్ క్రియేట్ చేసేప్పుడు ఏమైనా కొత్తగా మనం ఇన్సర్ట్ చేయగలమా?
See, for now you have to insert with insert query, but in real time the source table will always be populated by some other person, some other team. ఈ టేబుల్స్ అన్ని మీకు ఇచ్చే సోర్స్ టేబుల్స్ వేరే దగ్గర నుంచి ఉంటాయి. దట్ మేబీ SSIS జాబ్ రన్ చేస్తాము, లేదంటే డైరెక్ట్గా సోర్స్ కానీ కనెక్ట్ అవుతాం, వేరే SQL సర్వర్ కానీ అలా. ఈ సోర్స్ అనేది ఎవ్రీ టైమ్ బిజినెస్ డేటా, రైట్? సో ఎవ్రీ డే మన అది ఇంకా అప్ స్ట్రీమ్స్ డౌన్ స్ట్రీమ్స్ అని ఉంటాయి. అప్ స్ట్రీమ్ అంటే మన ఈ సపోజ్ ఈ టేబుల్ మనకి సోర్స్ కదా, ఈ సోర్స్ అనేది అప్ స్ట్రీమ్ టీం వాళ్ళు ఇన్సర్ట్ చేస్తారు డేటా దీనికి. అంటే మనకంటే పైన ఇంకొక టీం ఉంటుంది, సో వాళ్ళు ఆ బిజినెస్ డేటాని తీసుకొచ్చి ఈ టేబుల్లోకి ఇన్సర్ట్ చేస్తారు. ఈ టేబుల్ని మనం యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకుంటాం ఫర్ రిపోర్టింగ్, దట్స్ ఇట్. సో ఇదర్ వాళ్ళు ఇన్సర్ట్ చేస్తారు, బట్ మాన్యువల్గా అయితే మనం రియల్ టైంలో మాన్యువల్గా ఎప్పుడు మనం ఇన్సర్ట్ చేయం డేటా, రైట్? సిన్స్ ఫర్ అవర్ ప్రాక్టీస్ హియర్ వీఆర్ ఇన్సర్టింగ్ డేటా మాన్యువల్లీ. ఆల్వేస్ టేబుల్స్ ఉంటాయి, టేబుల్ టు టేబుల్ మనం లోడ్ చేసుకోవాల్సి వస్తుంది బై యూజింగ్ స్టోర్డ్ ప్రొసీజర్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ విత్ ఇన్ ద సర్వర్ ఆర్ బై యూజింగ్ SSIS.
Okay.
For now, for your practice, you have to insert data manually on the source. Okay. So here, please go on mute. So here, I'm trying to insert into the same table incremental load, but by using this source table. So now if I execute this way again, it will be duplicate records will insert. So how to check whether the record employee ID is existing in the table or not, guys? Let's say, let me tell you this way. See, here I have these many records, right? So maybe if I use distinct, duplicates will not be there, right? So I have this many rows: 1111, 2222, 3333, 5555 is there, right? So now what I need to do is, I don't want data to be retrieved from this table which are not existing on the table again here. See, based on this is my source, right? So the source is having few records, and then my destination also is having the same number of records, right? So now what my requirement is, I want to retrieve data from this table, which is, see, no, I think I'm confusing. So this is my source. Source data, right? So I want to retrieve data from this table, which is not exist on this table. How to do that? Let's see employee IDs. Maybe not all the records, maybe employee IDs you can take an example. How to do that, guys? I want to retrieve data from this table, which is not there on this table. I'm only telling the condition, right? So we have to use where clause, where emp id. Can we use not in? This way. Did it work now? Guys, agree? The not in function, not in keyword. You know this, right? In or not in. I discussed you in the beginning classes. In will allow multiple values, whereas equals to will allow only one value. So if you use not in, where employee ID not in, the distinct employee IDs from our destination table. So there are no records in the source, which is there on the destination, right? So there are no records, so that if you implement the incremental approach also, 0 records will be inserted, right? Guys, clear on this one?
Can you tell me once again?
So what I'm trying to do is, so my requirement is I want to fetch data from the source table, which are not existing on the destination. That is what here we are taking, right? So this is my destination, and here it is the source table. So I want to retrieve the data from the source table, which is not existing on the destination. That is what the incremental load, right? So selecting data from the source, which is not there on the destination, and insert into the destination, so that will be a new record. That is incremental approach, right? Inserting the data which is not already there on the destination. So that is what I'm trying to do here. Select star from source, where employee ID not in, which means it should not be there in the destination table. And I'm selecting a distinct employee IDs. I'm checking whether these employee IDs are there in the source or not. That's it. So implement the same here, where employee ID not in, select distinct employee IDs from the table, destination table. See here, always you should choose the destination table, right? So insert the data before inserting the data, check whether that records are already existing in the destination or not. That is what we are doing here. Let me execute it. Command completed successfully. If I execute the stored procedure now, 0 records will get inserted. Why? Because there are no new records in the source when compared to the destination. 0 rows. Why? Because whatever the records which are there on the source, which is already there in our destination. So if you insert a new row into your source, then that value will come into the destination. Maybe by using this example, you'll get a fair idea. I'm inserting a new record into source, which is not there in the destination. All right. So insert into, I'm inserting into my source table. Source is nothing but from where the data we are fetching it. That's it. Okay. Values. What are the order of columns? Employee ID, ls give 8888. and then employee name, let's say Amar, and then employee age, let's say 36, and then location is not there, right? Anyhow, leave it. So I'm inserting data in my source. Now if I execute the stored procedure, how many rows will go into destination, guys? One row, right? Whatever the new record which we inserted. Why? Because it is not there in the destination. It is going 0 records. Let's check whether 8888 is there in the destination or not. Do we have 8888 here? No, right? Then why it is not going, guys? It should. So let me check my source data. Select star from. This is my source and it has employee ID 8888. But this 8888 is not there in the destination, right? See, observe the data properly, whether we have 8888. No. Okay. Let me insert one more record and see. Insert into my source table. Are you guys getting it what I'm trying to do? Values. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. Then control is affected. So now if I check my source, I'll be having these 2 rows which is not exist in the destination, right? So now if I execute my stored procedure, so did I alter my stored procedure? I think maybe that's the issue. Or did I create? Let me alter it. Right. So I have altered the stored procedure code, and then now I will execute the stored prop. Still 0 rows. Right. So what's the problem here? See, as per our code, where employee ID not in, we are selecting data from this, which is not existing on the destination already. So let me execute this code alone. 0 rows. If I use not exist, see, we are trying to insert a new records from source into destination. So it is not happening. We'll see. I'm just checking why it is not loading. If I use in, see, in is working, right? Guys, how come for in 8888 and 1234 also is coming? Which means the employee temp has the 8888 and 1234. These are destination temp. It is employee temp, right? Does employee temp has 8888 and 1234? But how come the in is retrieving? Guys, are you understanding it? See, if I use in operator, right? So I'm selecting only employee IDs which is there in the destination. See, 8888 and 1234 also is coming. Are you observing it? But these two
Ma-
records are not there in the destination. Strange. Or maybe the query itself is not working. Okay, I think it's time up. Maybe you can practice this one and we'll connect tomorrow. I'll take 1 hour class tomorrow. Okay. You can practice till now and then, yeah. Fine, guys. We'll connect tomorrow. If you have any concerns, you can message me on WhatsApp. Thanks for
Okay.
joining. Yeah.